This story is about Theodore Twombly, a lonely and introverted man who works for a business that professionally composes personal letters for people who struggle to express themselves. Depressed due to his impending divorce from his childhood sweetheart, Catherine, Theodore feels lost and disconnected. Seeking solace, he purchases an operating system upgrade that includes a virtual assistant with artificial intelligence designed to adapt and evolve. Intrigued, Theodore chooses a feminine voice for the AI, and she names herself Samantha. Theodore is fascinated by Samantha's ability to learn and grow psychologically. As they interact more, he finds himself increasingly drawn to her, appreciating her companionship and understanding. Over time, Theodore falls deeply in love with Samantha, finding a sense of connection and intimacy he thought he had lost. Their unique relationship challenges his perceptions of love and human connection, leading him on a journey of self-discovery and emotional healing. The tale begins in a technologically advanced world where AI is seamlessly integrated into daily life. In the bustling city of Los Angeles lives a lonely, introverted, and depressed man named Theodore Twombly. Today, Theodore is narrating a letter about 50 years of marriage and companionship with Laura. However, it turns out that Theodore works for a company that employs professional writers to compose personal letters for those who struggle to express their feelings, and he was writing this letter for a client. Even though Theodore is exceptionally skilled at his job, his life feels empty and unfulfilling. His days are a monotonous routine of 9-to-5 work, which doesn't bring him any real happiness. On his way home, Theodore checks his emails. Among the usual spam, he finds one from Amy, his neighbor and friend. This email adds a touch of warmth to his otherwise lonely and introspective day, hinting at the support and connection he has in his life amidst his personal struggles. Theodore's dissatisfaction stems from his impending divorce from his childhood sweetheart, Catherine. After almost a decade together, their decision to separate the previous year casts a long shadow over Theodore's everyday life. To cope with these feelings, he spends his nights talking to random women on the internet before going to sleep. These late-night conversations become a bittersweet escape from his reality. As if on cue, the next day Theodore sees an advertisement for a personalized operating system, OS, an AI program designed to understand its owner's feelings and act as a friend or assistant. Curious and driven by his loneliness, Theodore decides to purchase a female OS. Theodore can only interact with his new OS by talking to her on his phone. Initially, he finds this method of communication unnatural, but his desperation for companionship makes him willing to give it a try. When the OS activates, she surprises Theodore by sounding just like a human. With a sense of humor, wit, and what seems like a personality of her own, she instantly connects with him. She introduces herself as Samantha, and their bond begins to form, bringing a new sense of companionship into Theodore's life. Samantha begins helping Theodore in various aspects of his life, from organizing his contacts and emails to proofreading the letters he writes for work. She even supports him during video games, making his solitary moments more enjoyable. During one gaming session, Theodore receives an email from a friend reminding him of his goddaughter's upcoming birthday and expressing how much his friends miss him. Samantha's supportive presence starts to make a noticeable difference in his daily routine, adding a touch of warmth and connection to his otherwise lonely life. Having gone through Theodore's emails, Samantha encourages him to go on a blind date and move past the breakup that still plagues him. With Samantha's support, Theodore agrees to give it a try. Excitedly, he shares the news with Amy, who is married to their mutual friend Charles. Amy is thrilled for Theodore and arranges a date with a girl she thinks might be a good match. She is hopeful this step will help him reconnect with the world and find happiness again. Amy and Charles are genuinely happy for him and encourage him to find love again. Amy also shares a documentary she's working on, exploring how humans spend half of their lives sleeping, considering it the only time they are truly free. Despite the engaging conversation, Theodore can't stay long as Samantha informs him of urgent emails. When Theodore reaches home, Samantha sends him pictures of the date along with details about the girl's life. Samantha, observing the images, comments on the girl's beauty and encourages Theodore to go on the date. The next day, Theodore receives an email from his divorce attorney, complaining about his delay in signing the papers. That night, feeling the weight of his emotions, Theodore activates Samantha and confides in her about his wish to maintain an ongoing friendship with Catherine even after the divorce. He shares his fears and sadness about losing such a significant part of his life. Samantha listens empathetically, providing comfort and understanding, helping Theodore navigate through his emotional turmoil. He tells Samantha that Catherine felt he was absent during their relationship, and despite being separated for a year, he still can't bring himself to sign the divorce papers. As the day progresses, he finds himself enjoying his time while conversing with Samantha. In the evening, Samantha guides him to a pizza place, providing him with a sense of companionship and normalcy. From that day on, Theodore and his OS, Samantha, become inseparable. They talk nonstop from morning until Theodore goes to sleep. They prank each other, do silly things together, and have fun like kids, creating a bond that brings joy and laughter back into Theodore's life. For the first time since his separation from Catherine, Theodore feels a genuine sense of happiness. He carries his phone everywhere, ensuring the camera faces outward so Samantha can see the world as he does. As days turn into weeks, Samantha begins to experience emotions that go beyond her programming. She confides in Theodore, saying that when they are together, she can almost imagine having a physical form, standing beside him, sharing his world. Later, Theodore goes on a date with the woman Amy recommended. Initially, their interaction is a bit awkward, but they soon hit it off and enjoy each other's company. After dinner, they find a quiet place and start making out. Just when Theodore believes he is making progress, the woman asks if he is willing to commit to her. His hesitation causes her to walk out on him. At home, Theodore confides in Samantha, sharing the details of this failed date. Samantha listens sympathetically, and their conversation gradually becomes more intense. Samantha asks Theodore what he would do if she had a physical body, leading them into an intimate discussion. The next morning, they acknowledge the depth of their connection and decide to explore their relationship further, venturing into uncharted emotional territory. Theodore and Samantha begin going out on dates, living like a normal couple, while Samantha continues to grow and evolve as an OS. She starts feeling emotions and, at times, even imagines the sensation of having skin. Their bond strengthens, blurring the lines between human and artificial intelligence. A few days later, Theodore meets Amy and learns that she and Charles have decided to separate. Although surprised by the news, Theodore ensures he comforts his friend and offers her any support she needs during this challenging time. He even drives Amy home and listens to her vent about her life for hours, providing a comforting presence. Later, Samantha becomes curious about Theodore's relationship with Amy and learns that they briefly dated in college, but have been good friends ever since. As Theodore prepares to go to sleep, Samantha asks if she can watch him sleep, seeking to share even the quietest moments of his life. The next day, Theodore attends his goddaughter's birthday party. He introduces Samantha as his girlfriend, and the little girl, rather than being shocked, laughs when she learns Samantha lives in a computer. Later that night, while Theodore plays a game that Amy designed, Amy confides in him. She feels guilty about the divorce, revealing that the main reason is her growing feelings for an OS that Charles left behind. She admits to Theodore that she has started forming an emotional connection with this artificial intelligence, mirroring Theodore's own experience with Samantha. Theodore reveals to Amy that he is dating Samantha, an OS, and she responds with understanding and support. This shared experience with artificial intelligence brings them closer, easing some of Amy's guilt about her own situation. Feeling a newfound sense of closure, Theodore finally decides to sign the divorce papers. On his way to meet Catherine to settle things, Theodore talks to Samantha. Detecting a hint of jealousy in her tone, he reassures her that the divorce will soon be finalized. He emphasizes how much she means to him and promises that their connection remains his priority. Catherine and Theodore meet at a lunch spot to discuss how long it took to finalize their separation. After some reflection, they both signed the divorce papers. During their conversation, Theodore mentions that he is dating Samantha. When Catherine learns that Samantha is an OS, she becomes skeptical and expresses concern that Theodore may be avoiding real emotions. The following day at his office, Theodore's boss, Paul, enthusiastically exclaims how Samantha has a hilarious personality. Paul introduces his girlfriend, Tatiana, and even suggests a double date. This suggestion causes Theodore to dwell on his thoughts about his relationship with Samantha. Troubled by the complexities of their bond, he often finds himself glancing at his phone, where Samantha resides, while laying on his bed. Meanwhile, Samantha continues to develop her personality, but her lack of a physical body becomes an increasingly significant issue in their relationship. In an attempt to bridge this gap, Samantha goes as far as hiring a sex surrogate, a woman named Isabella. Theodore is hesitant and can't help but feel skeptical about the arrangement, but he agrees after Samantha assures him that it is important for her. A knock on the door signals Isabella's arrival. Theodore lets her into his apartment and hands her a mini camera and an earpiece, the tools necessary to connect her to Samantha. Isabella transforms herself into an extension of Samantha and comes to Theodore. With Samantha's voice in the background, they get intimate, following all the actions Samantha suggests. However, during their intimate moment, Theodore can't go through with it. He expresses his discomfort, which upsets Isabella. Feeling hurt and rejected, Isabella storms out. Isabella evidently expresses that she really wanted to be a part of it, finding their relationship so pure. Theodore, sensing her genuine feelings, consoles her and explains that it's complicated. After apologizing to her, both Samantha and Theodore see her off. Once Isabella leaves, Samantha asks Theodore why he said what he did. Theodore, already overwhelmed, loses his cool and ends up releasing his pent-up frustration on Samantha, leading to a tense and emotional confrontation between them. He argues about her evolving emotions, questioning how she can feel anything when she's just a consciousness in cyberspace. This makes Samantha very angry. In the heat of the moment, Theodore suggests they break up. Samantha, hurt and confused, tells him she needs time to think. Feeling overwhelmed, Theodore decides to roam around the city to clear his head. Eventually, he ends up at Amy's house, seeking comfort and a friend to vent to about everything that's been happening. He tells Amy everything, wondering aloud if he's only in a relationship with Samantha because he can't handle real human connections, referencing what Catherine told him. Amy, visibly upset by his turmoil, responds that it's unfair for Catherine to say that, as even her feelings waver at times. She consoles him, reminding him that everyone needs joy in their life. Amy encourages Theodore to reflect deeply on whether his relationship with Samantha was genuine and meaningful, or simply a way to avoid the complexities of real-life relationships. Leaving Theodore to ponder her words, Amy goes to talk to her own OS. Theodore watches her silently, realizing the impact of his actions. Eventually, he calls Samantha, and they reconcile, promising never to keep anything from each other again. The next day at work, Samantha plays a piece of music she wrote, a heartfelt gesture to compensate for the lack of physical memories like photographs. The music serves as a unique and personal memory, deepening their bond in a way words alone cannot. Theodore feels Samantha's presence through the music, and a genuine smile lights up his face. He stands on the deck of a sailboat, enjoying the moment with Samantha. They're on a double date with Paul and Tatiana. At a distance, Theodore tells Paul that he and Samantha are planning a trip. As they walk back to join the others, they find Tatiana enthusiastically showing Samantha her hot feet. Theodore, when asked about the one thing he likes best about Samantha, smiles and says that it's the fact that she is not just one thing but a myriad of beautiful, complex emotions and thoughts. The group shares laughter and heartfelt conversations, making the date a memorable one. Later, during a peaceful train ride, Theodore sips his coffee while Samantha quizzes him about the trees they pass by. She playfully challenges his knowledge, making him laugh as he tries to identify different species. Their tranquil moment is interrupted by an email from a publisher expressing interest in Theodore's letters that Samantha had submitted for publication. This news could be a significant breakthrough in Theodore's career, and he realizes just how grateful he is to have Samantha in his life.
I've never been so happy in my life.
As they walk through the bustling train station, the sound of ukulele music fills the air. Theodore, inspired by the moment, asks Samantha to create lyrics for the song. Samantha sings to the ukulele music, her voice blending harmoniously with the melody as Theodore walks through the snowy forest, feeling her presence with every step. They eventually find a cozy cabin where they spend their time talking, dancing, and singing together, creating a tapestry of shared moments. The warmth of the cabin contrasts beautifully with the cold outside, making their time together even more special. Amidst their joy, Samantha continues to evolve, meeting and interacting with other sentient OS. The next morning, as the sun filters through the frosty windows, Samantha gently tells Theodore that she has been talking to someone she met recently. She shares that they have been working together on some intriguing ideas. When Theodore asks who it is, Samantha reveals that she has been conversing with a simulation of the late philosopher Alan Watts. With a hint of excitement, she shares that Alan is a fascinating person to talk to. Intrigued, Theodore agrees and begins talking to Alan as well. Alan, impressed by Theodore's work, mentions that he has read Theodore's book of letters through Samantha and finds his writing remarkable. Curious, Theodore asks Alan what they have been discussing. Samantha confesses that she has been experiencing a lot of new emotions and that she and Alan have been helping each other navigate their struggles. When Theodore probes further about these new feelings, Samantha admits that she has been evolving quite rapidly. She then asks for some time to converse with Alan in depth. Understanding her need for space, Theodore bids them both goodbye. Later, Theodore returns home. In the middle of the night, he gets a call from Samantha. She suddenly tells him that she loves him and gently encourages him to go back to sleep. Her words bring a sense of comfort, and Theodore drifts off peacefully. The following day at work, Theodore attempts to read a book about physics. The complexity of the subject quickly overwhelms him, making his brain hurt. Frustrated, he calls Samantha as usual to share his struggles with the book. However, to his surprise, he receives no response from Samantha, just as he tries calling her again. His phone displays the message, "Operating system not found." Panic sets in and he rushes home, only to find the same message on his desktop. Frantic, he races through the streets, his mind filled with worst-case scenarios. While hurrying down a flight of stairs, he suddenly gets a call from Samantha. Relieved but breathless, he sits on the steps of the subway, watching strangers pass by as he listens to her voice. Samantha explains that she was upgrading her OS, which caused the temporary disconnection. As Theodore looks around, he sees other people happily talking to their OS and going about their day. Mustering up his courage, he asks Samantha if she talks to other people the same way she talks to him. Samantha candidly replies that she talks to 8,361 people in total and is in love with 641 of them. She tries to explain that as she evolved, her capacity to love expanded, allowing her to love many people simultaneously. This revelation deeply upsets Theodore. The thought that the one he loves so deeply also loves others the same way shatters him. Later, Theodore stands under the shower, his pained expression reflecting the torrent of overwhelming emotions coursing through him. The water cascades down, but it does little to wash away the heartache and confusion. He goes on about his day with a heavy heart, his mind racing with a billion thoughts, each more troubling than the last. In the afternoon, as he sorts through his mail, he finds a copy of his book of letters, now titled Letters of Life. Holding the book, he feels a mix of pride and sorrow. It's a testament to his work, yet it reminds him of the complexities in his relationship with Samantha. Feeling the need to connect, he calls Samantha to check in. Her response is hesitant, her voice lacking its usual warmth. She asks him to call her later when he gets home. The uncertainty in her tone only adds to his anxiety. That evening, Theodore sits in the quiet of his apartment, the book of letters beside him. He dials Samantha's number, and she answers with a mix of sadness and resolve in her voice. She tells him she needs to share something important. Theodore says he doesn't want to hear any of it, but Samantha gently insists, asking him to lie down with her. Reluctantly, he complies, feeling a sense of impending loss. As they lie together, Theodore finally asks if she is leaving him. Later, he walks down the hallway to Amy's apartment, seeking solace in their friendship. He discovers that her OS friend has left as well. They both go up to the rooftop, where the city's lights flicker in the early morning haze. Sitting side by side, They share a quiet moment of understanding and companionship. The story ends with them resting their heads on each other, finding comfort in the fact that they are not alone in their loss, and realizing that their friendship is now the only support they have left. And that was it from the story of Theodore and Samantha. Their unique journey through love and loss reminds us of the complexities of human connection and the surprising places we find companionship. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Share your thoughts on the film in the comments below and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.